Well, today we are talking about an amazing city in Florida. Did you know that this city was home to the cigar capital of the world? I didn't either until I talked with my good friend Jenny. Hey, Jenny, how are you today?
I'm good, Jennifer. How are you? It's so good to see your smiling face.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you look like you're in paradise. So lucky.
Yeah, I'm working from the beach today, so not really, but I mean it's fun.
What a nice life you guys have in Florida. So today we are talking about all things Tampa, and Jenny is the expert there. So first, tell us a little about yourself and how you got into real estate, if you would, and then anything else you want to tell us, any hobbies you have or about your family, whatever you'd like.
Oh, okay, awesome. So, I'm obviously Jenny. That's my name. My tagline is Jenny sells the block. I did not come up with that on my own. It was kind of bestowed upon me. So I ran with it,
Oh,
and it's just everywhere. Jenny sells the block. Jenny sells the block. So, I love flamingos. And my dear friend Jennifer, who you also see on this call, gave these to me, and I was so thrilled. And I wear them whenever I can, and I get tons of compliments on them. So that's kind of my logo is the flamingo and pink and girly. I've been in real estate since 2018, and I kind of happened upon it. My brother was in real estate. He does commercial, and he just kept telling me, he's like, you would be an amazing realtor. You'd be so good at it, your personality, the way you like to talk to people. And I was like, meh, meh, meh. And then I went through it was around 2018, I went through a really, really awful divorce. And I had been not making, I wasn't really working at that point. I was working at my son's school trading for tuition. He was in private school. And so I was like, oh, I need a career and fast. And my brother paid for my licensing, because I was like broke at that moment. He paid for my licensing and I passed the test on the first time, which I'm told Florida is like a 50% pass rate. Yeah, I know. I cried. I went to the parking
wow.
lot. I called him and I was crying. I was like, I passed. Yeah, because I wasn't a spring chicken. The brain is slower these days. So that's how I started. And I've loved it ever since. I mean, it has provided a life for me that I never would have been able to have otherwise. I have a degree in elementary education. God bless teachers. It's not for me. It's not where I belong. So it's been really good. It's allowed me as a single mom, I have my son full time and he's such a blessing to me. But I have him full time and it when he was in middle school and high school, I didn't have to miss any events. I was able to go to everything because I could work my own schedule. So it's been really good. And we've been able to take trips and go to New York City and vacations and it's been wonderful. I love it. And so that's my story. And I've won a couple of awards along the way. So I'm doing something right. I'm very grateful
Yes,
for um,
yes.
the business it has given me. And in my free time, I like to play pickleball. I like
Mm,
to pickleball. It's really fun. I'm not very good at it, so I'm not very athletic, but it's fun. It's very social. That I think that's a big thing with pickleball too. It's very social. And
yeah.
my son is about to turn 20. He'll be 20 this summer, and he just finished his first year in college. And he's my buddy. Like he's the light of my life. I do everything I do is for him. So it's good. It's
I
great stuff.
love that.
I'm a
I
blessed
love
girl.
that. First of all, you don't have a 20-year-old. Stop lying. Second of all, um, I would have never known you were anything other than a real estate agent just because you just are so natural and you just, yeah,
Aw,
you're just so good at it. So that's so interesting to hear,
thank you.
where people come from prior to real
Yeah.
estate. But it makes sense because, you were in education and we're all about educating our clients and making sure they understand, the entire process. So it seems like a natural progression, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah.
I love
Good
it.
stuff.
Okay. Well, so you cover basically Tampa and surrounding cities. What are some of those other cities or areas that you serve as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So Tampa Bay is a great area. We have about three counties that comprise Tampa Bay. You've got Pinellas County, which is where I live, and then there's Hillsborough and there's Pasco. There's a couple of other outlier counties, but those are the main three. Pinellas County, where I live, has Clearwater. Everyone knows Clearwater Beach and all the beaches from Treasure Island and Bel Air and Reddington Shores and Indian Rocks and all of that. That's all part of my territory. Palm Harbor is where I live. That's a tiny little town in Pinellas County. Safety Harbor is right down the road from me. We have like Holiday, Newport Richey, those are up in Pasco, all of downtown Tampa. And then there's areas like West Chase, that's a big master plan community closer to downtown Tampa where it's all like very manicured and just beautiful. But St. Petersburg, that's also 30 minutes
Mm.
down the road from me. So I do work St. Petersburg as well. Pinellas Park. There's lots of little towns in Tampa. Like I could list, there's probably like 100 of them. But yeah, it's easy to cover the whole area, and you get to go across some bridges. And anytime I get to see water, it's a happy day for me.
That is so awesome. Okay, so you
Yeah.
cover quite a wide area around Tampa as well. So let's talk about the real estate market in, Tampa. And I know that we probably have very specific markets in specific cities, but just in general, what's going on in Tampa right now? If someone was looking to move there.
Yeah, great question because I was just talking about this with someone that the market and I think anywhere it's hyper local, right? But
Mhm.
it's a tale of two markets here, even just between residential and condos, because you know there was a situation about I think it was 4 years ago now where a condo collapsed in Miami and about 100 people died.
Mhm.
It was the middle of the night. It was very tragic. Coming from that, they have put together some legislation where a lot of these buildings that are older need to have these engineering, like structural reports done. And it's kind of like a home inspection on steroids. So it's like the whole building is getting inspected. And if whatever they find on that laundry list has to be corrected because we don't need that to happen again, right? So we're seeing in the condo market prices dropping very, very rapidly as buildings are getting these reports back. And they might have, some buildings, maybe $1,000 assessment per person to get through. Some of them are like 80 or $90,000 per owner assessments. Yeah. And then the fees are going up. The monthly fees might have been $900 a month to be on the beach. Now maybe it's $3,000 a month. So the values are coming down. A lot of those buildings are older. A lot of the owners are older. They bought them, when they were 100 grand or something. And this was supposed to be their retirement, their nest egg. So they're having to sell really cheap or not at all. Some of them, and oh, and by the way, in case you've been under a rock, we had a couple of hurricanes visit us last year. That wasn't fun. Let's hope that doesn't happen again. And the whole beach
Right.
side was very wet. So that, coupled with the Miami situation, a lot of people don't want to buy condos. It's like we probably have almost a year's worth of inventory in the condo
Mhm.
market. So it's a very strong buyer's market with the condos. Residential, totally different story. Like depending on what
Mm.
area you're in, um, it can be move very, very quickly. I put a listing on the market in an area of Tampa called Carrollwood. And we were under contract in 6 days. We had lots of
Mm.
showings and we were 6 days. So we're not really seeing a ton of multiple offers right now. Pricing is coming down. Something that's interesting that I look at every day are new listings and the pendings, of course, and the price cuts. And it's been really interesting to me to see for at least the last month. You'll see, let's say there's 200 new listings. Well, then there's 450 price cuts. The price cuts are more than double the new listings, which tells you everybody's still thinking it's 2021. They're listing too high. So we're having to educate our sellers a lot, but it's fun. I mean, it's still moving. There's still people buying and selling all over Tampa Bay.
Well, and I was going to say that exact phrase. This is where that education comes in because we have to educate our clients to understand how the market is changing, how it's different one neighborhood versus another.
Right.
And going back to the condos, I find it very interesting because I think that when that thing happened in Miami, everyone heard about it, even outside of Florida. And actually, I think that that's kind of spread over the United States as far as condos go. And yes, you have very unique
Yeah.
situations there where, you also have hurricanes. However, I've seen more and more condo, complexes or neighborhoods here where the lenders are looking much more deeply into the finances
Mhm.
and into the
Yeah.
structure and really making sure that they have the reserves. Because, like you said, the assessments
Yes.
per owner, a bank may not want to take on some of that risk. So I've seen that actually here as well. So I think it's kind of a ripple effect.
Yes.
So
And I think it's necessary because I think that some of these buildings, as they do get older, we want to make sure that they're structurally sound. We can't have things like
Yes.
that happen. So
I agree, totally. So, say someone was looking for a single family home, what is the median price point kind of in your area?
it's about 450,000,
Okay.
depending on, what neighborhood, but that's probably most of like Pinellas County.
Okay. Okay. So, let's talk about some different things. So, first of all, when we think of Tampa or, when you look at Tampa, what type of industries are in Tampa that would bring people, moving from other areas of the country? Are there any specific industries that you can think of maybe that people move to Tampa for? I'm assuming tourism may be one of those industries.
Yeah, I mean, tourism is obviously huge here with our beaches and athletics. We have a lot of, we have really good sports teams, so you'll have athletes coming to the area. We had Tom Brady for a hot minute, and he's gone now. That makes me very sad. Yeah.
Um,
Um, so, the tourism industry. We have some different. I don't know that we would be known as like a hub. There are some like Amazon hubs here, but
oh, yeah.
I don't know that it's really pulling that many people in.
Yeah.
But there's, a finance, beach. I'm trying to think like what. Yeah, I don't know
You
that
have
there's
some big
anything.
hospitals, maybe. Do you have some larger
Hospitals.
hospitals?
Thank you for reminding me. Yes, we have Tampa General Hospital is one of the biggest transplant facilities in the world, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
we've got some good hospitals for sure. Yeah,
Well, that
lots of
makes sense because yeah.
healthcare. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it makes sense just because it's a larger city. So that the question comes up, are there opportunities, say someone lives outside of Tampa and wants to invest in a property, okay? So whether it be a condo or single family home, if you do have some of those large hospitals, is there an opportunity for medium or short-term rentals, maybe for traveling nurses, or, are there any
Yeah.
schools around for maybe is there a good opportunity for investors for those different reasons?
Yeah, absolutely. We do have, in fact, I have a client that we just sold her house. She ended up here because she was a traveling nurse. And then she ended up buying a house and now she's moving on to somewhere else. But we definitely have that. A lot of Airbnbs. What people don't know is that you can't Airbnb everything. And there are very specific neighborhoods and rulings, with the municipalities about the Airbnbs. But there are some good opportunities for that for tourism. Um, and like you said, keeping like the medical professionals or athletes renting those homes while they're here we also, in baseball, we have the Toronto Blue Jays train here. That's about 15 minutes from where I live in Dunedin. So a lot of those, people will rent houses there. So yeah, and you
Yeah,
could,
yeah,
if you wanted to buy a condo, if you were smart and you wanted to kind of look at the risks, you could probably get a really good condo for, do your due diligence with the financials and things, but you could get it at a really good rate and you could keep that as a rental or just as a long-term investment. So there's definitely opportunity for sure. Yeah.
yeah. And I'm sure there are people who come to spring training every year that, they could just have a condo as a second place to, stay. And I think that's probably pretty popular in Florida. So,
Yeah, because we
um,
get a lot of snowbirds. We get 3 or 4 months of snowbirds. And I've sold many a pickleball friend, that is a snowbird. And they're like, oh, we want to buy a house down here. Can we get like something, that's affordable that we can just visit 4 or 5 months out of the year? And
mhm.
it's absolutely possible, especially up in when you go to Pasco County, Tampa's kind of spreading out a little bit from
Mhm.
Hillsborough and Pinellas. You can still get, like some of my 55 plusers can get a single family house with a two-car garage. We're talking 1,500 square feet with a two-car garage for 250,000 bucks. I mean, that's really affordable in Tampa.
Oh my goodness, that is
Yeah.
amazing because I was going to talk about, that population. Well, first of all, snowbirds, the people who are coming down for the winter. Are you seeing where are they coming from? Are they coming from New England? Are they coming from the Midwest? Where do you see people coming from?
I see them coming from all over. I've a lot of Michiganders. Is that the word? Michiganders from
Sure.
Michigan. Wisconsin. Yeah, sure. We'll go with it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Wisconsin, Oregon, Washington State.
Mm.
There was a lot of Canadians. Now, there's something going on with Canada and the United States. I don't know if it's the tariff
Mm.
stuff or what, but
Oh yeah.
less Canadians are traveling here right now. They're on kind of a pause or buying. Some Canadians are, in fact, selling their properties. I'm
Mm.
sure that that will, whatever that is, it's going to work out because we do get a lot of tourism from Canada, New York, New Jersey, anywhere that's cold and snowy, pretty much.
Sure.
Indianapolis,
So
you know.
yeah, Indianapolis, right. Listen, because I know for a fact people move down, are looking for second homes all the time in Florida. So we just have to figure out where
Yeah,
they're looking. Um, so speaking of snowbirds, there's another population, the downsizers. And I've talked to so many people about this because I think this is the biggest thing right now. Like, yes, there's
absolutely.
people investing. Yes, there's first-time home buyers, but downsizers. These
Yep.
people have equity in their home. The home is too big. They have too much stuff, whatever the case may be, looking to downsize into those. Well, it's funny. We call them ranch homes, but apparently that's not what they're called all over the country. Some people have told me, what's a ranch? Okay, so in Indiana, we say a ranch is like a one-story home. Is that what you guys call it?
We say that too. Yeah, they're called ranches here. Yeah. It's not, doesn't
Right,
mean you have
like
to have like cattle or something. It's not cattle. It's
right,
like
right.
the one-story
Well,
house is a ranch.
a one-story home, right? So are there a lot of downsizers? I'm going to assume you're going to say yes, but where are these downsizers, even if they're, coming from outside of your area or inside of your area, where are they moving? Do you have a lot of new construction with, one-story homes, or where are they going?
They are, in my experience, they are going, some of them already live in a one-story home or a ranch,
Okay.
but it's too big. Maybe they have a pool. A lot of houses with pools here. Probably more than 80% of the homes have pools. So they don't want to take care of all the stuff. So they are moving to, in my area in Pinellas County, it was probably the first to be developed in the Tampa area, Clearwater Beach. So a lot of these homes are older and we don't have a lot of new construction here. So to get new construction, you kind of have to go out to like Pasco County and probably maybe an hour from here. So I don't sell a whole lot of new construction, very little of it, in fact. There's a neighborhood in Parrish, which is out like on the other side of Tampa, where they're building like a big Del Webb community. And if you know
Oh,
Del
yeah.
Webb, it's master plan, like lots of restaurants and bars for the very active 55 plus, right? Some people will go to places like that, but we also have some really, really nice, what do we call them? Where there's like, they change the terms in real estate, right? You're not supposed to say certain words. So, oh, it's not facility, it's community, right? So,
Oh, yeah.
independent living communities. So, I have
Hmm.
one
Hmm.
seller right now, in fact, their house is on the market, big 3,000 square feet with on a pond and a pool. And she's like, we don't need this anymore. So, they moved into this gorgeous apartment in this active adult community, and they're everywhere. It's like luxurious gorgeous dining
Mm.
rooms. There's like hair salons on site, this big
Hmm.
pool in the middle. I'm like, is this like Melrose Place? I mean, what is happening right now? It is gorgeous, and then it's easy maintenance free life for them. There's like
Hmm.
shuttle buses that'll take them to the mall and out to eat and
Okay.
whatever. Really nice. Yeah.
Okay, so that's an opportunity. Yes, Del Webb, for example, in Indianapolis, they are building those like crazy. Now, we have more land probably or fields, corn for them to
Yeah. Lots
build
of
on.
corn.
Okay,
Yep.
lots of corn. So they're building them like crazy, and those are great neighborhoods where it's similar to those, other communities you're talking about, where they have activities and it's the low maintenance where they're taking care of the yard, and we're just seeing so much of that. So it sounds like there are a lot of opportunities for people downsizing there
Yeah. Mhm.
into ranch homes
Yep.
or those communities. When you mentioned the 450, I think you said it was kind of median price. Is that tough for first-time home buyers, or maybe people who are working in hospitality? Because my previous career was in hospitality, hotel management, and I will say, you know, it's really tough to, if you're in a city that's kind of expensive, to afford,
Yeah.
home. So what are they doing?
They're waiting longer. It is really tough. I have
Mm.
some, I have some buyers right now that are having a hard time finding what they expect in a $450,000 house. Um, and it's not, brand new. It's not updated necessarily. And I have some other, people that don't keep their eye on the market, and it's heartbreaking, but, they'll call me up. I have a buyer that said, she's like, oh, we're living with my parents in St. Pete. And she's like, we would like to buy a house. And I was talking through all the stuff and what's the budget? And she said, 250,000. Like, you're not getting a house in St. Pete for 250,000. I can take you up to Pasco. You can go to 30 minutes north and go to Newport Richey or Holiday. I just sold one in Spring Hill for 278 with a
Ooh,
pool in Spring Hill. It needs some work,
wow.
but you're not going to get that in St. Pete. So it is tough for the first time home buyers. And I think about that for my own son. Like, will he be able to buy a house in Florida? But there is a little bit of silver lining when you see some of these prices kind of correcting a little bit because in 21 it was so crazy. During COVID, when we were barely shut down, everybody moved to Florida. And now maybe people are moving, they're getting called back to the office, and they're selling.
Mhm.
And when rates aren't 3% anymore, you got to sell for less. You got to offer concessions. So I think there's hope out there, but it's tough for first-time home buyers right now.
Yeah, it sounds like they have to kind of go out just a little bit further, maybe to get what they are expecting or what they hope for.
Right.
So, if someone has never been to Tampa, and it's hard to believe, but there are people that have never been to Tampa, Florida, what kind of activities do you offer? Of course, you have the beach, but what brings people to Tampa?
Oh my gosh. Like I said, probably our sports teams, our Lightning hockey team is
Mhm.
really good. The Bucks have been better, but it's still fun to go to the stadium and we have open air stadiums. I've been to your stadium, which is really cool. And I think the roof opens there, which I've never seen it open.
Yes.
Um, but so yeah, the beach is mostly Disney World. People will come, and that's not Tampa, but that brings
Mhm.
them to Florida, and then sometimes they'll come over to Tampa. We're about 2 hours away from Disney. But people come down, for the sunshine. We have like, I don't know, 290 days of sunshine a year or something like that. Um, there's tons of pickleball facilities popping up. It is like wildfire around here for pickleball. Um, I'm told we have lower property taxes, so people will move for that. We don't have state income tax, so that's good.
Mhm.
And it's a great lifestyle. We put up with the heat and, maybe the rising prices on homes and things because it's just water everywhere and it's beautiful and golf courses everywhere. I'm looking at a golf course right now. I live on a golf course.
Cool.
So there's just ways to be outside all the time, like year round. You can be outside, even in January and February. If it's cold, it's for like a minute. If it rains, we say if you don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes, it's going to change. So, you get a thunderstorm and then it's gone and the sun's back out. So it's just the lifestyle. There's restaurants, it's good food, there's good shopping and cruises. You can come down and, I can book a cruise for Friday and be at the port in 40 minutes. I don't have to get on a plane to fly to the cruise ship. So it's just a great lifestyle to be outside and active.
Yeah, it sounds like paradise, really.
It is.
So, kind of to wrap this up, if someone was thinking of moving to Tampa, whether it be for a second home or, just moving from another city to Tampa, what advice would you give them on how to get started?
I would tell him to call me. Call me first, or call you, and then you can call me. Definitely, you want to
Yeah.
find a good realtor that knows the area that you're in. And I'm always first to say that if I get a referral or somebody calls me and it's not an area that I'm familiar with, I will find you someone that knows it. Because some of the neighborhoods do have, and I think that's probably anywhere, you might have a pocket that's great, and then around it, maybe not so much, especially as they're older
Mhm.
neighborhoods and they're kind of like turning over. So, you know, understand that housing is going to be more expensive here. That I tell people that, and you're not going to get what you might be able to get somewhere else. I lived in Georgia. This was like 15 years ago. My brother lived here in Tampa in West Chase. He came up to visit us. We had built a semi-custom house for about $95 a square foot. This was in 2007 in Georgia. And he came to see the house and his eyes were as wide as saucers. And he was like, I did not know you guys were rich. I'm like, this is a $450,000 house. And he's like, "Oh, this would be 2 million in Tampa." I'm like, "Well, it's
Oh,
different." So you have to be realistic and you have to understand that yes, you might be buying an older house. Yes, it might be smaller, but you're not going to be inside your house that much. You're going to be outside. You're going to be paddleboarding. You're going to be kayaking. We have so many, forgot to mention that.
mhm,
So we have like over 150 state parks. I have a pass, and we
mhm.
have places where you can kayak the most beautiful crystal clear waters with giant fish below you, and you can watch the fish and you can snorkel, and there's springs and manatee, dolphin. I went out to dinner the other night, and there must have been 50 dolphin just playing in the water. They're everywhere. I mean, the wildlife is just amazing. Alligators, you get used to them. They're fun. So it's just, you're not going to be inside your house. It's a place to sleep and put your stuff, but you're just going to have such a different lifestyle. So be prepared for the lifestyle and don't be too hung up on, the house part.
That's
Be
really
flexible.
good advice. I love that for anyone thinking of coming. And you are just such an expert in your area. So, if you're watching this video and you are thinking of moving to Tampa or any of the surrounding areas, again, Jenny knows the block. Is that what the phrase is?
And he sells the block. I know it, but then I sell it too,
She
because it's not enough to
she
just know it.
knows
You got to
it.
sell it. Yeah.
She knows it and she sells it. So if you'd like her information, get in touch with me. We'll put it in the video below. But thank you so much, Jenny. You're so amazing. We're so thankful to talk to you today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jennifer. This has been such a pleasure to see you, and you're just so lovely and bubbly and fun, and I love your personality, and I'm blessed to know you. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Bye.